The night had stretched longer than Mara expected, but at last, it was coming to an end. The soft hum of the coolers filled the quiet store, blending with the faint aroma of coffee that lingered in the air. She moved slowly behind the counter, wiping down the surface one last time, her tired hands reflecting a long day's work. Outside, the fading light of dusk painted the empty street in soft orange tones, the world seeming calm and harmless. For a brief moment, Mara allowed herself to breathe, to feel content that she had made it through another day. The store was silent, the kind of silence that feels almost comforting, wrapping around her like a blanket. She reached for the register key, ready to lock up and head home, unaware that this peaceful ending was about to unravel into something she'd never forget. Just as Mara reached for the key, the soft chime above the door broke the stillness. Her heart gave a small jump. No one usually came in this late. 3 men stepped inside, their shadows stretching long across the tiled floor. They didn't look like customers. The tall one in front carried a grin that didn't reach his eyes, the kind that made the air feel colder. His boots thudded against the floor with slow, deliberate steps, and behind him, the other 2 whispered something under their breath. Laughing quietly, Mara straightened, forcing a polite smile, and said gently that the store was closed. But the men didn't stop. Their smirks deepened as they spread out, one leaning on the counter, another blocking the aisle. The easy calm that filled the room only moments ago began to slip away, replaced by something heavy and dangerous in the air. Mara's pulse quickened as the space around her seemed to shrink. The man in the leather jacket, Kyle, his name stitched across his chest, leaned closer, his grin sharp and mocking. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "Nervous," he taunted, his breath thick with alcohol. She tried to step back, whispering again that they were closed. But before she could move farther, his hand shot forward, grabbing the front of her shirt. The fabric tore, bitter with a harsh sound that echoed louder than anything else in the quiet store. His friends burst out laughing, cruel and careless, feeding on her fear. Mara's throat tightened as tears welled up, but she swallowed them down. She couldn't show weakness, not now. Her mind raced for a way out, but her body refused to move. The fear was paralyzing, cold and deep, and for the first time, she truly believed she might not make it home tonight. Then, just when the tension felt unbearable, a sound came from the back of the store, a dull thud, followed by the echo of slow, deliberate footsteps. The men turned, their laughter fading into silence. Mara's breath caught as 3 figures emerged from between the aisles, their presence commanding and calm. The first was tall, broad-shouldered, with a salt and pepper beard and a black leather vest, marked with the unmistakable emblem, Hell's Angels. His eyes were steady, unreadable, carrying a quiet kind of authority that filled the room without a word. Behind him stood 2 others, one bald and heavyset, the other younger, his long hair tied back beneath a pair of sunglasses. The air changed instantly, thick with tension, but no longer one-sided. The thugs shifted uneasily, their bravado slipping as the leader stepped forward, his gaze fixed firmly on Kyle's hand, still clutching Mara's torn shirt. The biker's voice cut through the silence, low and steady. "You might want to let go of that." For a moment, no one moved. Kyle hesitated, trying to mask the tremor in his laugh. "What's it to you, old man?" he sneered, but the words came out weaker than he intended. The biker took one slow step forward, then another, his eyes never leaving Kyle's. The weight of his presence alone made the air feel heavier. Kyle finally released his grip, stumbling back as his smirk faded. His friends stood frozen, unsure what to do next. Then, in a blur, Kyle lunged, and instantly he was on the floor, groaning in pain. The second thug tried to charge but was slammed into the counter with a single shove. The third didn't wait. He bolted for the door. In less than a breath, it was over, and the store fell into a deep, stunned silence once more. Mara stood behind the counter, her chest rising and falling as she tried to steady her breathing. The torn fabric of her shirt trembled in her hands, but the danger had passed. The leader of the bikers turned toward her, his expression softening as the harshness in his eyes faded. "You okay, miss?" he asked quietly. She nodded, unable to find her voice. The only sound in the room, the faint hum of the coolers again. He gave her a small nod, then said gently, "Keep your lights on a few more minutes. You're never as alone as you think." For a moment, she just stood there, watching as the three men walked out into the fading sunlight. The roar of their motorcycles echoed down the street, fading slowly into peace. A tear slipped down her cheek, not from fear this time, but from something far deeper. Kindness still walks among us.